Hello, welcome to Board Deck and Dice. Today something a little bit different. I'm going to give a sort of review of something called Folded Space. These were some inserts that funded on Kickstarter. They now have a website where you can go and buy these. And these are essentially foam core inserts that have treated cardboard pressed to either side. It's kind of like plasticky cardboard. It's hard to describe. It feels really nice to touch. And they have quite a lot of games already on there from their first Kickstarter. They're planning another where they're going to add some more games in. But I just wanted to give an overview of how easy they are to make and what I think of the final product once it's made. So let's go have a look at me punch out some Folded Space from Marco Polo, and then I'll come back and tell you what I think. So here we are looking at the Folded Space inserts that have been successfully funded on Kickstarter and are now being sent out to backers. I got my packs and I've put some together, and I just wanted to show you a quick example of how easy they can be. What you will get is a number of sheets of kind of treated foam. So it's foam with treated card on the outside, which makes it surprisingly strong. You get stickers, so that, try not to drop those. When you've put the boxes together, you can actually put these stickers on them to show what bit goes in where, and you get an instruction sheet, which is a guide to assembly. Has all the steps on it and where you take which bits from. Generally they will come with repeated sheets, so this has 4 sheets of identical pairs, so sheet A and B are the same, sheets C and D are the same. So they recommend you put one together dry first of all, and it tells you exactly which bits to punch out and where to go from there. So I'll just pop one together dry just to show you how easy it is. So we're gonna get rid of these. These are actually really nice to punch out as well. So we need one of these, and we need 2 ends, which I believe are these bits, there and there. And then you will just follow the instructions, and some of them actually come next to the ones that they are doing it off camera, that they are next to. So after you put it together dry, which makes sure it fits, but also if there's any really tight bits, it just gives it a little bit of looseness, so when you put the glue on, you're not going to be splodging glue everywhere. And they will have a token tray for Marco Polo. As you can see, some of them are slightly more complicated. So we have card dispensing trays, I believe they are there. Contract dispensing trays, and they're quite neat because they will come out when you put the cards in, store the cards in them, they will come out and just sit on the table. So that's the one for Marco Polo. I've made, this will be my 4th or 5th one that I've been making, and I'll give you my thoughts back up over there where I stand to give thoughts. The first thing I want to say about Folded Space is the cost is really reasonable. They are heavier than you expect, so you might not expect, you might expect slightly less shipping costs, but let me tell you, having put 3 or 4 of these together now and received a massive bundle of them, they do weigh in more than you would expect. I think the punch board has been, or the punch foam, or whatever you call it, has been used really wisely. So, you know, there's not any wasted space really. And anyway, my son's off making various weapons from the offcuts anyway, so he's really loving that. They are surprisingly sturdy and solid, and I think what I really like about these is how easy they are to put together in one sense. I am rubbish at putting things together. I've done a couple of wooden ones, and I've done more of these now in fact. But with the wooden ones, when you push them out, you sometimes have to get a knife because they've left a millimetre or so of join on the wood, so it just doesn't fall out of the frame. But when you punch those, and when you put them out, it's just a little bit more effort. You have to try to trim them down. Sometimes you miss a bit. Sometimes the laser doesn't cut all the way through, so you lose a bit of the wood. The gluing and the putting together, it's a lot more rigid, so it's harder to manipulate stuff together, whereas if you've got a bit of a tight gap in with the folded space, you can just gently squeeze, because it's foam, squeeze it into that space. It's very easy to wipe away the excess glue. They recommend you use wood glue, and that's what I've been using with a lot of success. Now, I would say, because it is card, perhaps the edges don't sit flush together as they would with wood in quite the same way, but I've had absolutely no issue with that. Everything's stuck well, it stays secure. And the other thing I like about these, and this is the real, what I find is the real difference to some wooden inserts. So I'd say that the folded space inserts, design-wise, are designed more to get you playing quicker than I've seen in some wooden ones. And what I mean by that is, they might not be the cleverest solutions for, you know, storing your tiles exactly flush in a little space that you pull them out. But generally, or the trays might have loads of loose components in, and there might be a bit of space around the edge. But generally that's because you're just going to take it all out, put it on the table and play from them. Now you do that in some wooden ones, but it just seems a lot easier in here because you're not building massive trays, you can hand everything out, there's player trays, and so I think this caters really well for a quick setup time, and better than some of the wooden ones that I've got. I've got the wooden Caverna one, and there's still a lot of setup time in that, you know, so it swings and roundabouts really. Wood is a lot heavier, a lot more expensive to buy, a lot more expensive to ship. But ultimately is going to last longer, I guess. Folded space are a lot cheaper, a lot easier to make, although they do take, you know, it surprises you how long it can take you to make them, and I think they help set up play really, really well. So I'm all in on these. I'll get wooden ones for certain ones that, you know, where they're like Le Havre, where you have the tile dispenser. That really, I thought that was really cool, but for most things, I'm going to be absolutely delighted with this folded space stuff. It's really good. I'll put a link to the website where you can order them. Make sure you get on the Kickstarter, because after the Kickstarter the prices did go up this time, so make sure you get the best deal on the next Kickstarter when it goes live. And if you like inserts at all, folded space is definitely worth checking out. Thanks very much for watching. Board, Deck and Dice, we'll see you next time.